What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Meraki podcast. I'm your host, Eric Phillips, and this week we are talking to a good friend of mine, someone who I had the opportunity to work with in the acting world. And so we'll get a chance to just shine our light on her and what she has done. Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you help me welcome Miss Jhetta T.
Hey guys. Hey Eric, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. So we'll pretty much get into it. Um, so tell us a little bit about Jhetta T. Who is Jhetta?
Okay, I'm Jhetta T Anderson and I am a creative. And it took me a while to start claiming that. I'm an actress, an Atlanta-based actress, and I am a daughter, a sister, an auntie. I am also, above it all, a child of God, and I am just out here just trying to live a purposeful life. So that's who I am, and still trying to figure that out.
Heavy on that purposeful life and what's our purpose, because that's what's going to give us the fulfillment that we want
Exactly.
when we go. We want to know that we left an impact and that we made a difference, and that we lived a
Absolutely.
fulfilled life.
Exactly. I always say that there's people actually out here who are like living just to live, like going through the motions of life, but there's actually people who are living with a purpose to feel alive, and those are the real creatives. And to go back to your first question of who I am, I also own my production company, Janie Edriel, and that is the sole purpose of like acknowledging these creatives who don't get the acknowledgement that they deserve or aren't getting paid, but they're just creating to feel alive, regardless. That is what fuels them on the everyday,
That part,
using their God-given gifts and talents. So yeah.
that
Yeah.
part.
Okay, come
What
on.
what do you what's one childhood memory that you can remember that defines who you are?
Um, so as a child, I spent a lot of time daydreaming, and literally I would get home from school and I would be rocking back and forth listening to music. For all my people who know, back in the day, I used to come home, turn on 106 in Park, or even turn on Music Choice on demand. That was my thing. I would just zone out and rock back and forth and just literally imagine stories, just things happening and creating in my own mind, but I didn't know where to like put these stories, or I didn't know where my outlet was. And from there, I always knew that like I had this gift of envisioning things, so that was my main childhood, like of just daydreaming, or going to like dance shows and or choir rehearsals, and I just loved being able to create and collaborate with other people. But I spent a lot of my time daydreaming and not knowing where to put these dreams or these ideas. So yeah, I think me as a child daydreaming then is what I'm living out now.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
A lot of people say that if we could keep our childhood imagination through our adulthood, we would live a much more happy life, because when we're children, we have like these big ideas. Like, we have the idea, we see just the airplane, or we the reality is just this little airplane. But what that child sees, he sees like going through like war and like missiles and stuff being shot at it, and he's getting through it and he's making it happen, and he's like the superhero at the end of the day. And that is, in all actuality, in our field, what we do. We have this imagination, or we're birthed with this idea, and you can't really see it. It's not something that you can actually hold. It's something that you put on paper or that you may mention, but nobody sees it like you do. That's uh, the unique blessing of what we're gifted with, what gifted us with, because not everybody has it. Um, and for some of the people who do, we don't necessarily know how to at first um, manage that and put
Yeah.
Has
Mm.
there ever been a moment for you where you ever felt like your dreams were too big?
Heck yeah. The city that we come from, the county that we come from, I feel like we don't see a lot of people like us, in bigger spots and places where they're being acknowledged or they're actually being creative, you know? Um, so I kind of felt that way where I was just would be embarrassed. You know what I mean? I didn't want to sing too loud. I
Mm,
didn't want to dance too, vibrant. I didn't want to, you know, write and share it. It was just sometimes I would just keep things in my head or just be afraid to say what I wanted to do. And especially now in this adulthood where I'm actually actively pursuing my acting career, sometimes I have these moments where I'm like, maybe this isn't for me.
yeah,
And then my faith is like, wait, no, I can't. I can't, I
can't
can't
give up.
not just leave this behind. I have to chase it because I can't imagine being anywhere else.
Yeah.
I definitely have those moments of doubts. And especially growing up in my teenage years, I felt like I didn't want to overexpose my gifts either. So definitely.
Mm. Living, beneath uh, what you, even if you didn't necessarily see it, what you felt like you were and what you could do. Living beneath that.
Say that again. Did I feel that way?
Did you feel? Did you have the feeling of, or how I'm comprehending it is that you felt like you were living beneath what you knew, even though you couldn't necessarily see it, but you either knew or felt that you were that you. Oh man, let me
I
read.
understand everything you're saying.
Did you ever feel like you were living beneath what you knew that you could do?
Yes.
Yeah,
I felt like I didn't have the resources. I felt like
yeah,
not everybody else around me is as bold to chase,
to chase.
their
Mm,
creative, whatever their creative was, whether I went to school and I'm sure you can attest to this too. We're around a lot of talented individuals, but we don't have the resources where we're from, or we don't have the drive, we don't have the get up to go because we're in our heads about it a lot. So I felt like there was nobody around me that was chasing it. So it was just like, this is weird, but I can't neglect what I'm feeling right now, or better yet, beyond what I'm feeling, the vision that God gave me. You know what I mean? Because yeah, it's something that I felt in me, but
yeah,
when I prayed on it and God gave me the vision, and I'm like, oh, that confirms it.
yeah.
I can't stop.
The whole name of the podcast, Meraki, came from, I was looking for a name in regards to what it is that we do. Like, I'm very passionate. I take serious the things that I like to accomplish.
Mm.
And I was looking for something that matched that, and I came across the name of Meraki. And I'm sitting there, and I find that word, and I said, "Oh, this is cool." Honestly, it was really off of how cool I thought the word was, right? Not necessarily knowing what the definition of it was. And then I went and researched it, and the definition pretty much summarizes doing whatever it is that you love, or doing whatever it is that you do with love and passion.
Mm.
And so that was my mission in regards to what I wanted to bring across in this podcast. What is one thing that you do with passion, um, that you love doing, and that you find fulfillment in?
Mm. Um, so I just had this conversation the other day about how like I want to tell stories. I want to tell stories about the underrepresented. I want to tell stories like I have a passion to do that. I want to use my being to tell stories. I want to, you know, um, allow other people to be uplifted with the stories that I tell. Um, but I think sometimes we get so wrapped up with wanting to tell the story that we don't fully appreciate the stories being told around us.
Yeah,
And one of the main things that I've discovered about myself is I adore listening, to other people's stories. I adore, with small conversations, learning little characteristics about that person and why they may act like this, or why they are the way they are today. And I think that passion right there, passion for individuals, is one of the things that drives me. I love um, hearing the stories that are being told as I'm living through this day. So with Jenny Adriel, and first of all, I love the concept of your brand, and I wanna snap it to you because not a lot of people are as bold to do what you're doing right now, and it's so beautiful. I adore it, and I appreciate you having me on this platform.
Thank you.
With my company, Jenny Adriel, my sole purpose again is to uplift those creatives who don't know how to, put themselves on a platform or know how to show off their skills and doing it confidently, you know what I mean, fearlessly and in every way that God has created them to be. So just shining the light on other people, that is something that I take passion in 110,000%.
When did you realize the gift that you had from God?
Lord. I knew that I was different when I was younger, and they would be like, "Oh, you think too hard. Oh, you too sensitive." And I would be like, "I'm not sensitive. I'm just thinking and feeling in ways that you're not." Like, and I would say it in a way where I would make sure their feelings are validated, but also letting them know like, "But you should think this way, or maybe you should change your on this." And um, I knew I was different at a young age, but I didn't start to know truly until I would say my late teenage years, graduating out of college and trying to navigate what I wanted to do in life, and um not being fulfilled with my 9 to 5. Like, we all got to pay bills at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But like, I knew that I can't be complacent in the everyday, got to get it, make your money, business. I have to figure out how I can, let out whatever all of my gifts are. So I would say like my late teenage years. And when I prayed about it and I fasted that one summer, Lord, God showed me so many different things. And it was scary, but like I said, it confirmed a lot for me. Like, okay, so this is why, So yeah.
how was it scary for you?
Because you're kind of putting faith ain't for the weak. You're putting trust into the unknown, Like, even now I'm chasing, my dream. I'm chasing not just my dream, but the vision that God gave me. And it's such a fleeting industry, and you don't know. As someone who likes to be in control, who likes to know, like, factual, like, if I do this, this is the end result.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm doing the right thing right now, but I trust God.
yeah.
And when you really, really, really put all the control into God's hands, it's scary
Yeah.
at first. And I guess that made it scary, not knowing the unknown
I can
was
relate
scary.
to that. I can relate to that in so many ways. It's like I remember when I was like in fifth grade, people would ask me what I wanted to be. I have a funny story in this too. Shout out to my boy Emo, right? So we
Mhm.
in school we had an after school program, and it was latchkey, and then we had rec and stuff like that. And Emo worked in rec, and he's an
Mhm.
actor too. He's in the entertainment business. He's a comedian. Big ups to my big bro. But he asked me one day, like, "Yo, what do you want to be?" And I said, "Well, I want to be a pimp." And he said, "What?"
What?
Yo, it's insane, insane. That was that one time, but
Mhm.
for the most part, when people ever ask me what I wanted to be, I always said I wanted to be an actor. I came up in the arts. My mom was in the arts, and I always was like, man, listen, this is something that I find fun in, because at the time I couldn't tell the difference between joy and fulfillment and all of that stuff. It was more or less uh, I just wanted to be on screen and I wanted to do that. And I think maybe like in the sixth grade, I had an assignment and I said, I want to be by the age of 21, I want to be on the beach with my Oscar sipping like a drink or something like that. Right.
Mhm.
And when I got to 21, I had just booked my first re, regional commercial.
Mhm.
And I remember like being a little bit discouraged in that, in regards to what my purpose was, right? And in
Mhm.
the journey, I found that yes, this is what I'm supposed to be a part of. But there were, for God to trust me with the things that He wants me to have, I had to go through so many other phases of life outside of just like acting and stuff. Because like when we're in an environment such as what we consider Hollywood, um, there's so many things in our alignment or in our way, and distractions that we have to like curve out.
Mhm.
That if you don't have the maturity to be able to discern and understand what's for you, what's not for you, you can get lost in the sauce, and it's so easy to get lost in the sauce, right? And so like our spirit, if we're not spiritually mature, we that is what's going to have us wavering, right? So I believe that it's always in God's timing and how He provides for us. But He'll give us and give us little tastes of what it is that He wants for us, but He'll never give us the full thing until He knows that He can fully trust us with it.
Mhm.
So I think that in our journey, we that's the beautiful part of the process, is getting to where that is. You know what I mean, and getting to that part. Um, so I just want to continue to encourage you for what your mission is for your production company,
Thank you.
because the steps that we're in the process of taking, it is going to be amazing when we see the ending product, and it's so bigger than what you see right now. I know that for sure.
And you know what? You said something, and this was like I was reading my Bible too, and I was talking to my girlfriend about it. And a lot of you said it, you hit it on the nail. A lot of times it's about, God wants to know if, we can trust him. We can trust him. But it's really like, can God trust you?
Yeah,
And like you said, he's going to put you, in the perfect alignment,
yeah,
but he has to make sure that you're spiritually mature to be able to handle it. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get like these moments where I'm like, dang, if I was a childhood actor, I would have, like, if, film childhood actor, I would be so far by now. But I'm like, had to go through this like spiritual maturity where it was like, I wouldn't have been able to handle all the things that, would have been thrown at me if I had, wanted something when
yeah,
it wasn't in God's timing. You know what I mean? This industry is a scary industry,
yeah,
but with God, I wouldn't want it any other. I'm shielded differently. Like
yeah.
you said, my discernment is on a different level. I
Definitely.
recently had a project where I was like, I love this script. The script was like beautifully written. And the role required something that I felt like in this time I didn't I just had to decline it because I had to use my own discernment. And like as an actor, you want to book like as much as you want to say yes as much as you can. I just want to be in front of the camera.
Yeah,
But when you have a certain level of discernment, you have to trust that God has something better off for you, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I appreciate that encouragement because I needed
No, no,
that.
no doubt. Let's talk a little bit about how you got into acting. What was your process in regards to choosing this art discipline?
Um, so I got into acting, I would say in high school, I did drama class. And like I told you, I always had this imagination of, you know, stories, telling stories in my mind when I was younger, but I didn't know how to, you know, let it out. And when I did drama class, my teacher, he was like, come after school, come after school, you know, join the drama team, the theater team. And I'm like, okay. I was worried about getting this money after school. I had a job after school.
Oh no. So yeah,
I
so
was like,
yeah.
no, I
So
need to go,
yeah.
I need to go clock in at Bath and Body Works. I'm about to go, you know, get my nails done with that money. I gotta pay for my hair to get done with that money and all the things. And I was in college, and I think it was my freshman or sophomore year. And then I keep saying, like, I prayed and I fasted on a bunch of different things at that point in my life. And I said, God, what is your vision for me? What is your purpose for me? And he gave me the vision that I thought would be unattainable. And I've just been going since. I started with acting classes after that, though, and I minored in theater. So I was taking acting classes on the side in our hometown, and doing theater courses, and working with other creatives. And after I graduated, I knew that I was going to come here to Atlanta to pursue acting, because it's a great way to get your foot in the door, a great place to network. And since I've been here, I've just been collaborating again, meeting up with other actors, with other um, film industry people, and I got signed to my first agency after a year being here, and I give glory to God for all of that. Um, but my process for it hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
We were talking about the maturity thing, and it took me a while to get to where I'm at right now. And I'm just kind of excited for, if I'm in this headspace right now, I can't wait till I get to, you know, the headspace that God, you know, really has for me to be able to accept more and do more and all the things. So yeah.
What's been one of your more memorable experiences through your journey?
I would say I have two. So in college, I got to work with Joseph C. Phillips. He directed a pilot that I was on, called Mixed Up, which is written by Malika Stafford. And he came and co-directed the project with us. That was amazing. We got to film in front of a live studio audience. That was one of the best introduction experiences. And then my boy Warren, a lot of people know me as the chicken wing eating girl sometimes here in Atlanta, but that seeing that go viral and people being like if you know me, you wouldn't believe that I was, you know, that character that went viral. And it's just so cool seeing how, like, you know, different characters can touch different people and get different reactions. So those were my two memorable experiences as an actress. And then
That's
also getting to audition for like big casting directors out here. That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really dope because even 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 just getting in front of them is the blessing because they see your face.
They see my face
You
and they
are.
remember it. A lot of people be trying to they forget about that.
That
They
part.
think they got to audition to book, when it's really audition to leave your mark. You leave your mark. And
That
you leave it. Don't bring it nowhere. Give the best that you can and have fun with it and leave it.
that's part. That part.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part, I think, because then it'll play on your psyche, man. Crazy.
Right.
That viral moment, I remember that, and it was so funny to me because we had met on the project 404. Shout out to our boy Josh and Zay Moorhead um,
Butterfly effect.
for facing that whole project from local losers. Shout out to the project Butterfly Effect. And
Mhm.
uh, when I first met you, I'm like, oh yo, she's real dope. She's cool. She laid back. She loves God. Yo, this is gonna be a dope experience, right? We do that project. You go back to Atlanta, and then we follow each other in that process, right? And then um I see on your Instagram like you tearing these wings up, but I'm like, like I'm like, this is not Jhetta. This is not Jhetta. But it was so dope because I'm like, yo, she's really in this joint. Explain to me how important it is to do the work, to take the classes, and to really like dive into a project when God blesses you with one.
Um, I think that it's so important. Go to classes, do all the things. Um, but having confidence in yourself, like when you get a role, like dedicate yourself to that role. That you're not there to be yourself. You're not, I ain't eat no chicken wings like that. I don't even eat chicken wings. But you know, I'm gonna eat chicken wings because I'm that character. I'm gonna do. If I'm supposed to be a ratchet ghetto girl from Atlanta, I gotta fully commit. If I'm gonna be, an emotional wife who has OCD, I'm going to commit. And with those things, the only way you can grow and mature in that is to go to classes, is to be dedicated to your character and collaborate with others. I think that one of the main things that I've learned, not just going to classes and showing up, is to network and collaborate. I wouldn't have gotten that if had I not networked and been at the right place at the right time and said, "Oh, y'all need somebody for this role? Cool, hit me up. Y'all got my number." And you create so many great friendships and memorable moments with these people. And I think that we're steady trying to get at the biggest roles, which we should want to make sure we're auditioning for the Netflix series. We're auditioning for the Hulu series, but also work with the creators who are coming up with you as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's been
Mhm.
one of my biggest lessons in regards to like my journey, not necessarily on the screen, but more or less behind the screen, behind the camera, because it's in all man, coming up, I did all the research, I did all the YouTube videos that you can watch,
Mm.
and every person that I listened to, one time or another, they always said it's a business. It's a business. So like, what does business mean? What makes a successful business? It's not making money. It's not just about making money, but what's your what's your portfolio look like? Is it diversified? Or if it's just one particular niche, is it really good? Is it hate? Or is it like I got a lesson behind it? Or is it empowering? Black power, black love? Like what is it? What's your niche? And then the networking, the relationships that you have, the people that you go out and meet. It's all about that. You know what I'm saying? That has been one of my biggest like mind blowing things that I've been continuously learning because there's so many facets and so many parts of that and what that really means.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can't go over capital. You got to
Yeah.
have some sort of capital.
And,
Not
and oh, come on, talk about it. So when I first got here to Atlanta, I kind of was just so focused on collaborating and networking and being I just wanted to be on set. I wanted to be on set and I wanted to build my portfolio. So I wanted to do comedic things. I wanted to do, romance, dramedies, like all the things so that I could build my portfolio. So that way, by the time my reel is created, I can pitch. It's easier for me to pitch myself. Like, hey, I can do it all, and I'm growing and learning as I go. Um, right now, I'm being a little bit. I don't want to say stingy. Again, I want to get booked, but I also want to redirect where my portfolio. I think I have enough comedic things on my belt where it's like I want to do this role. I want to go after these roles right now. I want to shape my career in a different way. I think I've done my starting blocks of things. So I think, and then also being intentional about capital. We got to be paid. And that comes with recognizing your gift. I have a gift, and I want to be on set and I want to work with others, but I also have to make sure that people are appreciating my gift and that comes with compensation.
Yep.
So, mhm,
Heavy on that. Heavy.
mhm.
Jetta, what's been on your mind lately?
Ooh, that's deep. You wanna know what's on my mind lately? Um, lately I've been, um, I guess a lot of things that's been on my mind is, I guess, balance. I feel like I'm trying to navigate adulting because we still got bills to pay, we still got families, we still got relationships, and then your career and the things that you want to aspire to do, and then your being. And the big umbrella is God. And sometimes I feel like I'm constantly trying to like put myself everywhere, check off every box. And I can say within these last couple of weeks, and I give glory to God for this because I wasn't always like this, but I have been giving myself grace. I can't check off every box. The boxes that I get to check off this week or this day was enough for that week or for that day. And I am content with that, and being more present with myself. I beat myself up a lot. I'm a go-getter, I'm a chaser. Um, but I'm trying to balance, you know, being present with being a hustler.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where my mind is.
That's a heavy thing to find balance on. It's an experience in trying to figure that out because you're not always going to do the right things always. You're not always going to make the right decisions. And so it's going through those things and figuring out, hey, this wasn't the best decision, or I could have done it a little bit differently. I know, like now it's a little bit different for me because I have a baby girl now. So it's like, all right, so if I'm
She's
gonna
so beautiful. She's so
thank you, thank you.
beautiful.
Um, it is much not harder because I have a willing partner who allows
Mhm.
me to like explore this sector and like understands what that brings, right? And
Mhm.
so being able to have that supportive background, it makes it a little bit easier. But nonetheless, there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you have children. So um, now it's just a matter of okay, how do I still keep that hustling mentality and then find that. And lately, it hasn't been to, or at least it hasn't been
I'm
where I
sorry.
wish yet. Thank God. But again, I think that a lot of that goes into having somebody that is understanding that it's not just about you. Because outside of the acting thing, you still need to have a normal life. You still need to have a social life. It is healthy for the membrane. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so healthy for it. You got to have a health life. Like, what's your health life look like? Are you going to the gym? What are you doing for your physical wellness? Um, all of those things.
Yeah.
There's this guy that the S2S podcast. His name is Jamal. He's known to be the 9 to 5 millionaire, and he has 5 pillars: faith, family, finances, uh, freedom, and uh, and I can't forget I can't remember it, but I'll put it up on here. By the time this podcast come up, they'll see it. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, and it's these 5 pillars, and that's what I've been trying to make sure that is balanced, because outside of that, I'm not going to be effective in anything if I don't have that balance. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Going back to what I said earlier, like you said, like, yeah, you're trying to pursue something, but you still have to live. So, and when I said I want to tell stories with my being, but I have to make sure that I'm present with the stories that are being told around me. You know what I mean?
definitely.
And that it I still I might be on set doing a scene with her man or something, and I need to come home and be present with my man. You know what I mean? And because that, like you said, that's your foundation, that's your support.
That's right.
And we just have to make sure that we're intentional with the stories that, God is orchestrating, right now. And vice versa with me, my support system at home, I don't think I would have made it as far without, the support that I have at home.
Yeah,
Um, with my family, with my partner, I think that God is amazing with who he puts in your life and why you might meet this person. And how can you be of service to and support them as well?
yeah.
Um, but yo, you over here preaching. You're preaching.
This will be a question for you as well. Just
Mhm.
off of that, I surround myself with positive things, things that I'm trying to be more conscious of what I intake and consume. How,
Consumption.
how important is it um, to be very aware of the things that you have around you, and how does that play a part into you living a good life?
So I always say intentional consumption is everything. You have to be very intentional about what you consume and, like you said, what's around you. So for me, I suffer with anxiety. I get seasonal depression. I have these comorbidities that sometimes allow me, my mental health to just go downhill. And I have to be very intentional about like what I'm reading. I'm reading different books now, How to Be a Woman of God. What's that habits book that I'm reading right now? Podcasts that I'm listening to, music. I love me some R&B, but like lately I have been on like, we grew up in a church, it's different, but like we've always had like a little balance of like R&B and rap.
Okay.
I don't really know most of the music that's like viral right now because I'm just so heavy on like in the moments that I am listening or singing music, I'm using that time to worship, um reading my Bible, especially, like I can say right now, I haven't been in my word the way I have ever been. Like I've never dedicated myself to my word as much as I have. And I used to think of it as a chore, and now it's like it brings me joy and it brings me peace.
Yeah,
Um, so those things on the daily and weekly basis, they level me out. Conversations that I'm having with people. I'm sorry if you're complaining a lot, I can't talk to you on the phone. We might have to do monthly check-ins. Yeah. We might have to talk maybe 4 times a year. Um, because I know that it takes a lot for me to,
yeah,
stay level.
absolutely.
And even like how my apartment is kept, like candles. We got candles burning every other day. We got, Cleo Soul playing and then all the things. And especially with me being a creative, I have to show up as my best self and I'm using my being. So it's important that I keep up with my mental, physical. I recently started taking Pilates, all the things, like all of these things matter, and showing up for yourself is like beyond the first thing. Before you can take care of anybody, you got to make sure you're good. So for me, I don't know, Eric. Like I feel like lately I'm soaring right now. I might not be in the best financial situation, might not be in the best this, but like I am so grateful for where God has me in this present moment.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that part. Not surviving but thriving.
Yeah. Oh,
That ain't me. I can't take credit for that. That's my brother Darius Daniels. He's actually down in Atlanta too. He has a church.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but shout out to him. Yeah, but he always says that, not surviving but thriving.
But thriving. Ooh. Mm.
And I try to keep that in mind. Every month when I do my calendar, I have like a little catchy phrase or something, or a verse, a scripture from the Bible, that I
Mhm.
like to keep on my mind every day as I go. And right now, I have Black History is every day, right? Every day, ERR
Er,
day,
day.
every day, right?
Mhm.
But I think next month is going to be um, thriving, not surviving.
I love
or
that.
not surviving but thriving. Um, and so because that is so important, because even with thriving there is turbulence in there, but you still you still are thriving, you're still elevating, you're not making the same mistakes, but you're learning as you grow, you know what I'm saying, and you continuously move forward in the right direction. And so that's just what that's that type time I'm on. That's that energy. You know what I mean? So yeah. Well, I mean, you already entered into the like the mental health thing, but I guess I'll go into saying what has been your number one key in regards to keeping and maintaining your mental wellness in your journey through the highs and the lows? What has been your main thing to keep your mental wellness on track?
I say routine, honestly. Um, I wake up, the first thing I do, I try to delete all my social media apps at night. So that way I can wake up in the morning and first thing I'm doing, I'm moving, whether it's vacuuming, doing dishes, moving my body, playing my, gospel music in the morning. And then I start my day with my devotional. And then I move my body, whether that's running a mile or, going to a bar or Pilates class and really just being in tune with myself. Like we said, show up for myself, in the ways that I need it. And I've been writing a lot too lately. So that has definitely helped with, clearing my mind, getting my thoughts on paper, my feelings. Um, and again, just being present with myself. I've always been the go-getter. I always got to be doing something. What we doing? How we doing it? What time we doing it? Got to be strategic. It got to make sense.
Definitely, most definitely.
Right. But I think lately, God is just showing me like, hey, don't worry about strategy. Don't worry about none of that. Of course, balance it all. Like you have to, think ahead all the things, but like really giving the control to him so that I'm not stressing and wearing my body and my spirit because this industry, if you allow it, will really suck your soul.
Yeah,
Um, you have to stay grounded in that way. So mental and physical health, I just show up for myself in
definitely.
every way needed. And then sometimes, I'll be real with you, sometimes that means just blocking off everybody too. Like there's days where people don't hear from me. They don't, and as cold as it sounds, I feel like, because the old me would be like calling everybody every second, every minute, checking on people or trying to have some type of conversation or interaction with somebody. But lately, I just been really present and in tune with myself, and taking that time away is like super important for me.
Yeah,
It's like necessary.
yeah. My boy Nate, I think you may know him, Nate Evans. I actually had the chance to go with him as he spoke to some of the staff for Hamilton, and
Mm,
one of his quotes was self care is not selfish. Uh, what is selfish is not taking care of yourself. Uh, And I thought that was so important for us to know. And the reason why and this was so important because he was talking to the staff, because as staff and as people who exhort energy, who has that blessing to like do for others and serve, there is a level of energy that is exhausted throughout your day. And it's
yeah,
not even dedicated towards you, it's more dedicated towards others. And so if you continuously do that and not refill your tank, you're putting yourself in a position where it's
yeah.
like, you're gonna dry you go make yourself go dry. You know what I mean? Go on eat. So it's so important to have those moments where you take care of yourself.
And
However,
when the Bible says like my cup overflows,
yeah,
like God wants us to give that overflow. You know what I mean?
overflow.
Yeah, like give the over. You gotta save your cup. Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing with the cup that God gave you? Like, how are you constantly nurturing and replenishing yourself so you can show up for yourself and then you can show up for,
yeah.
oh, that was good. We preaching over here. Mm.
Oh, we surround ourselves with some dope people, and then we put in the work. And so this is only inevitable for the evidence to be shown.
Mm.
But you got to put in the work, and it's so important. And like I thought I had it figured out when I was like younger, because I've always been wise, because I've always had wise people around me. But I got too high up on my horse where I thought I knew it all, and I had to realize that I ain't no diddly squat, right? And so it's really now just understanding that through my journey is where I find my peace and my understanding of this life. But I also have to understand that there's other people that are going through this life with me, and they have like a journey and an experience that could change my life. So it'd be crazy of me to not like, thank you, Holy Spirit, to not listen to the people who are following Christ.
Literally. And the Bible says even the wisest aren't the wisest. And I feel like I went through the same thing where I feel like I had all the answers. That's crazy. Oh, I felt like I had all the answers. I had all the strategy. I had it planned out. And, you know, as you get older and mature, you realize like when they say like older people are like wiser, like it's because, you know, their testimony, the journey that God put them on has allowed them to have a certain type of experience, you know? Oh, and and I'm gonna say this as an actress, I don't feel like God made me wanted me to act or be in this industry um for self-glorification. I feel like God knew that I struggled with you know, insecurities, being uncertain, you know, not having confidence, but still wanting to have everything in my control. And being in an actress, first of all, this is a fleeting industry. So you literally have to give all your trust to God. And then secondly, just have being okay when you're I'm sure when you're improving or when you're in scenes, I'm sure you know, you're not gonna have all the answers. You just go, you know, you go with the flow, you know, you go with what you feel. Of course, you have lines, but like you literally have to leave it there, you know? And I feel like God has allowed me to discover this new person that I am, you know? And one thing about being a creative, especially with you, and it's so beautiful seeing because I remember talking to my boyfriend and you have known him for years. And I told him I was doing a project with you. And he was like, yo, he's like one of the smartest people I know, one of the most talented, one of the, you know, and then working with you and in experiencing your spirit, all I see is your eagerness and excitement to learn and grow. Like I never felt like you were too cocky or too like, you know, because you know, in this industry, work with some people and they're, you know, so full of themselves. I always felt like there was this sense of let's learn and grow together, you know, let's feel this out together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's crazy? I've never, not out in public, and never out in public have I ever been like that. It's always been in private, but God will
Mm-hmm.
correct you in private because you can't, because that's how you really feel. When
Mm-hmm.
you out in public, that's fake. It's how you act when you in private. And my spirit wasn't right in private, and so He had to correct it in private so that I can be good in public and really stand on that, right? So like I would never do that, but like now I can stand on it, and when you say it, I don't like get nervous or feel any imposter syndrome. I just feel like, yeah, thank you. You're just reaffirming what God has already kind of showed me already, what He told me, and so that's where I find the peace. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yo, so at the end of every podcast, I like to end it with a rapid question. It's 10 questions, and pretty much all we do. They're very straightforward, simple things, but it's a good, cool way for us to get to know a little bit more about you. So if you're wavering with your answer, if you want to skip it, you're more than welcome to skip it, and then we'll move on to the next question. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy though. I got you. I got you. You all right? Favorite movie?
Columbia, Columbiana.
No doubt, no doubt. Favorite actor or actress?
Oh, Viola Davis, and Will Smith.
Smith, no doubt. Favorite color,
Pink and brown.
favorite dish,
I like me like a good like I'm real simple. I like grilled shrimp and rice and asparagus, and I don't like all that extra stuff.
no doubt. Cheesecake Factory or Red Lobster?
Cheesecake Factory.
East or West Coast?
East Coast all day, baby.
Oh, let's go. Love or loyalty?
No. Loyalty.
Loyalty.
Mhm.
Theater or on screen?
I can't have two answers. Two answers?
But of
Okay,
course,
okay. So I love being on screen. I like working behind, but I love going to theater shows. I love going to Broadway shows. I love going to, you know, live performances. So I like being on camera. The pressure of being on stage is harder for me. Can I ask you which one you like better? Because I know you grew up in the theater world.
theater.
Theater, you gonna pick theater all day. Those are where the real actors are. Okay.
Well, not where they are, but that's where they're made. I think that
Yes.
the ones that do go through, and see, that's a whole nother conversation. But I have no favor in regards to what people prefer, but theater, because that's where I got started. And like, when you're on stage, you're acting big and grand. All it is on screen is bringing it down. And so when I
Yeah.
realized the difference, and then started realizing that it was more here than all of the other things, that's when it became easier for me to do the on-screen thing. But theater, because that's why I learned. That's why I first fell in love with it.
Mm. It's easier to bring somebody down than to bring somebody up.
Yeah.
That's why theater is like, that's where they're made. That's where the real stars are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Favorite hobby?
Oh, no. What's my favorite hobby? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I run.
Fitness?
Outside of my job, but yeah, I run.
No
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt. Winter or summer?
Ah, summer.
Summer. And you done there in the hot Atlanta too.
See, now you about to make me switch. These Atlanta summers ain't no joke when I tell you. But I like the outfits and the tan and my chocolate skin in the summer. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jhetta, thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for allowing me to dive into your world, and so I appreciate it. And hopefully next season we get to have you come back and talk about what you've been doing since then.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your friendship and all that you're doing right now. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait for all the rest to come for you.
Thank you. To
Thank
my
you.
guests, thank you for viewing another episode of the Meraki podcast. I love you and I appreciate you. Make sure that you share this with someone that may benefit from this or get some value from what it is that we're talking about. And as always, peace over everything. Until next time.